And we are recording. It's a solo rant in America. I just had on George Webb and Mike Ford. It's 5:30, 5:21 on Pearl Harbor, Wednesday, December 7th, 2022 at 5:21 p.m. Eastern Time. This is episode 1018. The episode I just did, I forgot to mention it while I was doing it with them. That was episode 365 of this year. I wanted to do 365 episodes this year, and I did it. And with a little room to spare. First episode of the year was 653. Yeah. So the last episode of last year was 652. So 309.52 plus 60 would be 1012 plus 5 would be 1017. Yeah. So that was the 365th episode of this year. That's what I wanted to aim for. Next year, I guess my goal, I think my goal is going to be 400 episodes. Because this year was with, this was with getting concussion and being out as well as moving. So that's also kind of life. I don't know if those can be seen as exceptions. Like, who knows what's every year. I factor in, like, there are weekends, there are holidays, blah, blah, blah. But I guess you can't say, oh, this was an exception. That was a concussion, and that's life. Like, those exist. The curveballs exist. So you have to factor that in. So whatever number of episodes I end up doing this year, because there's still 24 days left, and I just did 365, I imagine I'll probably get up to like 380 this year. I think I'd like to aim for 400 next year. That could be cool. But because I have the coolest job in the world, and there's really no reason to not work my ass off every single fucking day and make it work with everything that I have. I just finished that episode, and I didn't have an episode earlier. I had to go run some errands and do some shit. That I've got a little extra time. There's no reason why I can't do a solo rant. Don't necessarily want to, but tired. But I don't want to look back on this and say I wish I worked harder. So I'm going to give it my all. So I just talked with George Webb and Mike Ford, and it got very philosophical, very hopeful that there is something good going on, that Elon Musk, it doesn't seem like he is I put forward the hypothesis that he has been using Neuralink, or like a second, third, fourth gen Neuralink, for at least 2 years now. I think definitely this year and definitely last year, because he's just starting to make moves that don't necessarily seem. He's a brilliant individual. He's a legendary figure in humanity already. But the moves seem to be even beyond what he is capable of. An analogy I'll use is I remember listening to Brett Weinstein on Rogan, just a clip of him talking about Epstein. And he's like, to the average Joe, somebody with whatever, $400 million, their life's unrecognizable to you. It's not that you make 100,000 and they make 1,000,000, and like you could kind of see yourself doing that. If someone's worth $500 million, like, it's just multiple properties, and each property is top tier and private jets, and it just sort of, you stop being able to see your own projections and extrapolations, right? Like, if I came across $100,000 to like boost this studio, like, I would get a Mac Pro, I would get like a super expensive microphone, I would get a bunch of audio equipment, I'd have like a actual interior designer come in to do the studio, but I can like kind of see where it would go, right? Versus if someone gave me $1 billion to upgrade the studio, I wouldn't even. It becomes alien. Like, what would I have, like, the Air Force come in and like build me a cockpit that I strap on and do this podcast, and it's connected directly to like my vocal cords or some shit, like with haptic sensors? It just kind of leaves the realm of what you're able to think about or imagine. I remember this one clip of Weinstein talking. Um, he was like, because this person's worth so much more money than you or I, which actually it's kind of a moot point because it was him talking to Rogan and they're both loaded. But like, to you or I, the listener, and myself, it does. You just go, yeah, well, you have everything, right? You kind of hit this like blank check moment where it's like, yeah, you have everything. But to people that have an eye for wealth, they might say he's a wealthy guy, but he's not acting in a manner that someone with 500 million does. He's behaving like a guy worth 30 billion, which to a broke person like myself or yourself, what's the difference? Well, I mean, if you have 30 billion instead of 500, that's a 60-fold difference. That is a very, very big difference. That's wild. And that was kind of he put it in this idea of like it doesn't make sense to anyone that has an actual eye for it. It doesn't make sense, right? Now I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know anything about it. It's all bullshit, and I guess the rest of this episode's built on a foundation of speculation and horseshit. What else is new? But to a smart individual like Elon Musk, it's like, yeah, he's a Bezos, he's a Carnegie, he's a Rockefeller, he's a whatever. They do it. They work miracles. They work hard. They're geniuses. They delegate. They're ruthless. They grind people down to the bone. There's a high turnover rate. But yeah, it's like, yeah, they do wild things. They create Amazon. They create Tesla. They create Standard Oil, whatever. And that's all well and good and impressive. But you got to wonder is like, are we just sort of laundering their achievements and not looking deeper? Tom Brady's the GOAT, right? Been to 10 Super Bowls. I think he has 7 wins. That's wild. But if someone came back and said, Tom Brady's been to 35 Super Bowls and has 30 wins, you might be like, yeah, dude, I mean, I can't even throw a football. Of course he does. But to anyone that watches football, they'd be like, he doesn't have that many. He has a lot. He's the best of all time, but he doesn't have that many. It seems like you're kind of fudging the numbers, right? A $500 million is a rounding error to the Department of Defense, right? To me, that's more than I'll ever have in my entire life. I hope not. I hope I have more, but so it seems like there's more to Musk than we know. And this isn't, I'm not getting into is what he's doing good. I like him. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's an inspiring figure for all of his flaws. Who doesn't have flaws? Um, and I always have. This isn't some getting on the Musk wagon. I've really, since I've ever read or learned anything about him, I've been fascinated by him. It's probably like 2015, 2016. I read Space Barons 2017, and that's what really kind of got my eye onto. I just think he's a fascinating, inspiring individual. Fuck me, right? I'm not going into the ethics of should we as a society permit someone to own internet satellites, automated cars, AI, the digital town square, and a third of $1 trillion. I don't know. I I don't know. Is he going to get us to another planet? Does that kind of void all other criticisms because it's for the survival of the species and evolution doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. It just matters about reproduction. I don't know. But I'm just looking at more of like just objective achievements. It doesn't have to be Elon Musk. It can be Bob Smith. It can be Alexander the Great. It can be Hitler. I don't give a shit. It just seems like he's achieving a lot. A lot, a lot. Right. And you obviously have to have facts, figures to back things up, but it's like the Liver King. Yet no one with a brain cell thought that he wasn't using HGH. There is just no receipts, which is important. You do have to have data. Otherwise, you do just get a witch hunt. Trump's a Russian agent. Okay, you don't have to like him, but like you do. So, on that sense, you do have to show data. You do have to show evidence, right? A lot of claims about the JFK assassination, but ultimately, like, you got to find the paper trail. Um, but it doesn't mean we can't speculate wildly. So it just does seem like this guy's achieving a lot. I don't have the evidence to show that the Liver King was on HGH, but then eventually does come out. we didn't actually have any official leaks, from the Intercept about the DHS having the back end portals to big tech platforms on Halloween of this year, October 31st, 2022. And eventually you do get the evidence and you go, told you, but it is important to produce the evidence. It's relatively recently that the Liver King was shown that he was. What a lowbrow, stupid thing for us to focus on, but it's a good example for this case. So obviously we need extraordinary evidence, but let's speculate wildly. It seems absurd for one man to be able to do all of this. And it's not even like weird to think that there'd be a team. Of course there is. The example I used in the podcast just before this is, well, like, what is a presidential administration? It's just that. It doesn't matter who you Biden, Trump, doesn't matter who you like and who you voted for. The reality is like they can't do all of that. They can't simultaneously, think about national parks and Department of the Interior and corn subsidies and the B-21 Raider and posturing in the South China Sea and the war in Ukraine and Section 230, big tech monopoly. Like, you can't. It's too much. And the same way, I'm sure that a Bezos, a Gates, they have their whole teams. I know people with a lot less wealth who still have a lot more wealth than I do, and they have, I guess, if you will, teams, right, on speed dial. They have lawyers on retainer, they have their accountant, they have their whoever. People that, not someone that like me, if I need a lawyer, I have to go out and find one. I mean, no, it's someone you pick it up and you go beep, and they go, "Oh, what's up, Tommy?" And like, that's my lawyer. I don't have that, but I know people that do, that are worth a lot more money than I am, but they have that, right? And if they have their own quote unquote teams, I can only imagine as you get into the billions and tens of billions and hundreds of billions, you probably start to have teams. You probably start to have your own intelligence. Probably start to have your own informants, right? Your own security. You start to become a mini nation state. I truly appreciate every sip of water I take. It never gets old. It's just so fucking good. God, I love water. Mm-mm-mm. This podcast sponsored by hydrogen dihydrogen monoxide. Oh, it's not even a funny joke. But the thing is like all those teams aren't secret. I mean, sure, they're private, but they're not secret, right? There's no like shocker when you're like, did you know that Biden actually has an administration? Nobody's like, I heard Trump actually had a national security. Of course you fucking do. You have the Joint Chiefs and you have every Department of Transportation and Secretary of State. What you're not in the Fed looking at the balance. Well, there are no balance books in the Fed, and if you try to audit it, you'll get your head blown off in Dallas. That's not the point. It's just that there is a team somewhere. We don't really see an outward team of Musk, and that's not to say that that's necessarily anything fantastic. I don't know. You play your hand close to your chest, right? In the ruthless free market of capitalism, you don't necessarily want everyone to know what you're doing, right? It's not just that Delta Force is better than you. They are also very private about their training, so you don't even know what tactic they're using. It's not just technology that's classified. It's what Dale always says, tactics and what does he say? TTPs, tactics, some things and procedures, or TPP, tactics, practice, and procedure. That itself is classified. You don't want them to know, what play you're using. It's not like a football game where you can watch the other team and see what plays they're running. In Delta Force, it's like the only people that witness the play get a bullet in the face. So your actual tactics, your trick plays are kept secret. So maybe that's an argument. Maybe Musk is, keep the team quiet. And even if there is nothing of value in there, just by the nature of keeping it quiet, you're going to raise suspicion. And then other people would have to expend some of their finite resources on trying to penetrate the veil of your team. All right. By the way, I'm making all this up as I go. A solo rant is like, I'll sometimes have a point I want to get across, or it's an idea I want to. A lot of times it's me fleshing an idea out in real time. So it's more of a I'm just thinking aloud and recording it. There's no actual we're not going anywhere with this. There's no bullet points we're hitting. We're just going for a walk. So if we can't see the team, it's either because it's a proprietary corporate team, you can keep it quiet for secrecy so you can make more money, expend the other guy's finite resources. Okay. It could be that it's illegal, like I don't know, working with intelligence agencies of other nations, right? That would be, I guess, to be treasonous. It would be this. That could be a second one. The first could just be privacy for corporate value. The second might be treasonous or illegal. A third would be, I don't know, national security. That's an interesting one. Is he actually just a public face of a private program? No, he's the private face of a public program. He's a private individual. The point I'm getting is he like a is he a faucet for DARPA, and the technology flows through him out into the free market, which is the wording is seemingly backwards because DARPA is private and Musk is public, but Musk is a private person and DARPA is technically publicly funded. So whatever. PP, penis. But so is there some greater program to where DARPA is rolling out technology through him? Because I can't imagine they just produce weapon systems. Every once in a while, you got to find something that's like a major business advantage. And if their R&D is directly funded from the tax revenue of the United States economy, well, you would want the United States economy to be bigger and more powerful so that you get more money and you have more economic influence around the world to roll out your programs, right? No point in creating $1 trillion stealth fighter if you can't pay for it. Okay. There's got to be some back program where the NSA is, I mean, if we're talking about like multi-spectrum dominance and unrestricted warfare and asymmetric warfare, and it's not just bombs and tanks, but it's germs and cyber hacking and weather manipulation and crop destruction and all and psyops and propaganda, and it's it's naive at best and retarded at worst to think that that doesn't include economic warfare. So the NSA is trying to figure out about what the PLA is doing and how the Russians are stockpiling hypersonic weapons. But when they accidentally, intercept that thing about the new Huawei phone, that's not a valuable piece of information for warfare. You don't pass that along to some channel, which passes it along to some private business. No, officially, I think it would, technically, I think that's illegal officially. But I mean, just like black ops don't actually exist. Wink, wink. Dale would say otherwise. Yeah, well, of course they would. You're telling me there's not some back channel where the NSA figures out what Alibaba is doing and they just don't tell Amazon? Even if it's not for national security, even if it's just some dude going, "Hey, I make 60,000 a year at Fort Meade, but I've got this information that Bezos will pay me 30 million for because it will yield him 30 billion in revenue." Yeah. So if it's not, even if it's not an official pipeline, someone's gonna cash the fuck in. So so along that line of thinking, you would have to also imply that there's a technology rollout. Now, maybe it's not as simple red, white, and blue rah rah America as that. Maybe it's we want to roll out this new phone program so that we can track everyone on the phones. That's also a possibility, if not more likely. Like, you don't just put up Starlink. You don't just put up objects orbiting. Like, that gets signed off somewhere. Very, very powerful military officials sign off on that. And then to go further, it's not even like he doesn't do other shit for the DoD and Space Force. He's the biggest sole contractor for the Pentagon. There's, I don't know what Starlink is, but it's not just delivering memes to Uganda. There's something else there. Are they just kinetic warheads? Is it a backup? Is it a continuity of government? Is it decentralization? Is it control, command, and communication C3? Case of war? Is there something going on with JSOC? Is it NSA or all of the above? Probably all of the above. You don't just put up a string of satellites in orbit, just unmolested. You can't fly into someone's airspace, so you certainly can't just put a satellite over them without not some powerful, the most powerful people signing off on it. And if they're signing off on it, they're getting something out of it too. And I don't think it's just money, it's control. So it all comes back to this. Does Musk have a team? Is that team private? Is he using Neuralink? And is he some super brain? Does he have some nascent AI program that is feeding him information? Is he working with DARPA? Is he working with the national security apparatus? Is he just one piece in a bigger plan? Is he a face for some other entity? I will never not hope that there is just like a pro-human group of people in the shadows working. It's based on nothing. And I don't care. I will always hope for it. Like Tim Dillon said it about QAnon. He was like, as batshit insane as I think it is, he's like, I've never once hoped it wasn't true. Like I get the appeal of QAnon. Like, remove the whole idea that's, it says like Democrats are cannibalistic Satanists. Like, just remove that part. Remove political ideology. It's the identifying of an evil in the world, and that there is a reason why the world's fucked up, and it's from this evil world. And there's a group of competent people doing the right thing to fight it. Yeah, of course. Of course I want that. Who the fuck doesn't want that? Yes. Yeah, I hope there's a Tony Stark / Superman / Jason Bourne working for the betterment of mankind. Of course he did. Wait, what? Of course I do. Right? It's just, I don't know if I've seen the receipts for it. So, but I will never not hope that that's going on. Like, I don't want to see the bad guys. Who does? But it's also like, what a boring ending. Like, if the bad guys won, it would also just be boring. Like, yeah, it'd be evil. In best case scenario, would be killed. Worst case scenario, you'd be kept alive forever as some sort of weird cattle, and they just torture you because they're sick fucks. But that's also boring. Like, it's not surprising when Epstein gets whacked. You go, yeah, of course they killed him. No one went to jail after 2008. No shit. Obama didn't bring hope and change. What a surprise. Trump didn't build a wall. Huh. Got me. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca aren't going to be held accountable. Yeah, no shit. But that's also boring. It's not just blackpilling. It's also boring. Like, I want to see something exciting. In a world where everything was always good, the excitement would be that evil wins. I don't want that, but it would certainly be exciting. Like, an exciting Disney movie would be where it didn't end well, because every Disney Pixar movie ends well. An exciting Toy Story movie would be halfway through, Sid kills, who's the kid that has the toys? I don't remember his name. But it'd be like if Sid just killed him. Like, that would be wild. Right? Or if in the movie Up, like the grandpa sold the kid into like human trafficking ring. That would be insane. It wouldn't be good, but it would be insane because you don't suspect it. If Air Bud was hit by a truck, that would be wild. It's not good. If the brave little toaster was used to commit suicide, that's insane. Like, I wouldn't expect that. I'd be like, holy shit. If Flubber turned out to be DARPA tech and Robin Williams was no-knocked by some national security SWAT team and shot in the face, that would be wild. I didn't expect that. I was genuinely shocked when Leo got shot in the face in The Departed. Not that The Departed was some cheery movie, but it kind of seemed like he was getting out of it. It doesn't mean it's good. It's just ugh, spices it up. So like the inverse is like yeah, it's evil and it's diabolical and it's satanic if like the dark forces win and set up a dystopian technocratic hellscape for eternity. Yeah, I get that. That's bad. But it's also would just be boring. Like, oh, of course the corporate state created an inescapable black hole of money, power, and control. Like, of course they did. The military industrial complex just steamrolled forward. All right, yeah, what else is new? Does the guy get the girl? Jesus. Does the cheerleader go for the dude in the convertible with the leather jacket? Okay, oh wow, what a fucking interesting take on the hero's journey. I want to see something that would just be interesting. If the good guys won, that would be fascinating because it doesn't really ever happen. Oh, Assange just walked away forever. Snowden's, stuck in Russia. Like, yeah, of course. The Sam Bankman Fried collapses FTX and just doesn't have a scratch on him. Duh. Like, I'll see something. I want to see something, not just because it's good and I want there to be a loving, beautiful humanity that goes forward. And if I ever get married and I ever have kids, it could be a wonderful world for them. Like all that good shit. Yeah, sure. But I also just want to see something like exciting that's new. Like AI turns out to be good. Like the bad guys get got. We use nuclear power for like desalination of seawater and like no one ever goes thirsty again. Aside from the fact it would be good, it would also just be interesting and exciting. Much in the same way. And ultimately, the fact that it's good is like the main reason I want it, right? It's good that the kids' movies end positively. I get it. But like in The Land Before Time, if the dinosaurs got hit by an asteroid in the opening sequence, that would be wow. I didn't see that coming. If Shrek was killed by the townspeople for raping Princess Fiona on Ambien and didn't remember it, holy shit. Jesus Christ. And like Donkey had to like testify. That would be nuts. That would be absolutely insane. If the movie Cars included planes that were hijacked and flown to the World Trade Center, sure, Disney might have some backlash, but I mean, that would be fucking It's like, again, I love Tim Dillon. That's what he said. He'd be like, Lizzo always says these inspirational things. There's an episode he does that I think the episode's called Secret Society. I think it's that one. Or maybe it's Please Come Kill Us with Ray Kump. But he does an episode where he goes, Liz always goes up at the beginning of her concerts and is like, "You're a beautiful person. You only need your." I've never watched Lizzo in my life. I don't. But she's like, "You're a beautiful person. All you need is you." Just kind of that, girl power, whatever. Just all great and whatever. But he's like, nothing would be funnier than if she was a truther, not even a 9/11 truther, but like a Sandy Hook truther. She's like, and I also want to ask, have you ever seen a death certificate? They're all crisis actors, and they go in and be like, what if she's talking about 9/11? She's like, I just want to know why Larry Silverstein said pull it audibly on tape for Building 7. Anyway, like that would just be fascinating. It would just be intriguing. It's not good. It's not bad. It's intriguing, you know? Like that would be nuts. That's what I wanted. Like Goodfellas, of course it ends with everyone dead and betrayed. Of course it does. I want to see something just incredible happen just to see it happen. Like if DARPA and Elon Musk and some shadow elements of the government started like prosecuting pedophiles and like reducing inflation and started like giving money back to the working man and woman, and like if the Pentagon was like, we don't need this much money, let's work on a healthcare system, like that would, aside from the fact it would be good, it would also just be interesting. Just change it up, spice it up in the bedroom, put on a fucking leather gimp mask. Like I just I want to see something new. That's what I want to see, something surprising. Like that's what I want. Like I don't know. Like maybe that's what makes goodness so special, is that it is rare and that it takes a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, and it's not evenly spread out. It's not evenly the costs aren't evenly shared. Maybe that's what makes it so beautiful, is that it is rare, right? Maybe that's what makes a white Christmas so special, is that like no, in Georgia you're probably not going to witness a whole lot of Christmases with snowflakes. Maybe that's what makes it so beautiful. You can only have your first love once, right? I mean, I get that. It's gay and retarded, but like I get it. But it's also like I always think like how stupid you would feel if you died and realized it was all your dream, not just a dream, but your dream, and that it really was up to you how things panned out, just based on your thoughts and your intentions and your beliefs and what you focus. And I know this is all white girl with dreads, new age. I'm aware of that. Like I just Scorpio. I was talking to this girl one time, and by talking, I mean like literally for one evening. We are texting back and forth. I think I met her on Reddit. Very sad, pathetic time in my life. She asked what my sign was, and I told her I gave her the wrong birthday. She goes, I totally see that in you. And I lied and I go, I gave you my little brother's birthday. And I did. And she was like, that's that. And I go, this is my real birthday. And then I gave her my actual birthday, August 7th. She told me what my thing was. And I said, I lied to you again. My real birthday actually was. And then I gave her my little brother's birthday. And for the second time, when I told her my real birthday, she's like, "Oh, that makes sense that you would have lied about the first thing." And I go, "My actual birthday is March, whatever, 9th." And she was a little pissed at that. And she was like, "But that is sort of a characteristic of this." And then I said, I lied again, and I gave her my older brother's birthday. And I'll give it to her. She actually did kind of pull it all together and how that is something that someone would do born in that month. And then I think I took a picture of my ID and said it actually is August 7th. And she stopped talking to me. That's funny. Has nothing to do with this podcast, but that's funny. That that's not funny. If you don't think that's funny, fuck you. What if that's exactly something that someone born on August 7th would do? I don't know. Um, but like, what if your thoughts and intentions, and you just have to manifest and just type 111 and comment yes, and you will have beautiful financial news tomorrow. Shut the fuck up. I get that. But quantum mechanics, quantum physics, the observer effect. I mean, it does get a little hairy. Stargate Project, Dr. Dale Graff, CIA, remote viewing, telekinesis. Um, it does get a little kooky. What if, what if you, What if you were just simply like an amplifier? And if the vast majority of people believe things will get worse, then they do get worse. And it's not that the universe is good or evil. It's just it's matter that's responding to the waves being broadcast from the highest percentage of amplifiers, and it just corresponds to that frequency, which would explain control of the not explain control of the media is to control the narrative. But what if there's more importance to the narrative? It's not just a dictator's ego. It's not just an Orwellian ministry of truth. What if there is more to it? And how stupid would you feel if you died and woke up and realized that it was your dream and that all you had to do was believe things could be better, even if you saw no viable way that it could get better? Like when I was in a really low point in my life, like right now, I can imagine things getting better because the podcast just keeps getting better, and I keep meeting cooler and cooler guests, and I can like picture it getting even better because I've seen it get better. I've lost 25 pounds in the last 3 months. I can imagine what another 5 pounds off looks like because I've seen it. It's a lot harder when you have no evidence to even base it on. When you're like I used to tell myself like I will be my own boss one day and I'll do what I want when I want for a paycheck. This was the years before I even started the podcast. There was not even a I mean, that would be a bold assertion to think a month after I started the podcast, but you could at least maybe see the framework. You'd be like, well, if this thing takes off and you're good at what you do and you work hard, maybe down the road. But this was before even that. I would just go to bed. I would just be sad, depressed, just nihilistic. But what I would never do is surrender and say it won't get better. Even if every sense, sight, sound, touch, feel, taste, smell, whatever the fuck was carrying data that painted a picture of bleakness, even if every rational person and family member and therapist and person in my life was showing that they thought that this was going south, even when all rational logic told me that there's no way this turns around, I would still never, I would never say it out loud or even internally. I would just shake my head and say it's gonna get better. It's like being on death row and you're about to get the lethal injection and there's no way out, but you still refuse to say, I killed that person, right? Now that's kind of a bad example. But I would never, it could be my dad could be like, you need to get a job. Your mom could be like, I'm worried about you. Your dog's barking. You don't have any friends. You haven't been laid in 5 years. You're wildly overweight. You fucking hate everything about yourself. No one wants to hang out with you. But I would still go to bed and tell myself that I know that for the last 700 days, every day has been worse than the last. And the first day was the worst day of my life, my brother passing. And every day has been worse since then. Tomorrow is going to be better. And then, despite the fact that that day was also worse, and I wasn't surprised. Okay. That's the thing is like your rational mind's still operating. It's like, yeah, of course, day 701 also was shit. There was one thing and one thing only I did control. And it was my verbal, including just talking in your own head. It was my verbal consent to life being hell. And I never gave it. No matter how delusional it was, I would just say it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. Even when every part of my brain was like, no, 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 it's not. Statistically, numerically, factually, financially, physiologically, it is not better. Today was a bad. I would say no. Today might have sucked. Tomorrow it's gonna get better. I don't know how, but it will get better. And my logic was that if I didn't make my life better today, I didn't fail. I could still make it better tomorrow. If I quit, then I would experience failure. If I didn't get what I wanted today, that's not failure. That just means I didn't get it on this try, but I'm going to try again tomorrow. The only time you could ever fail is if you admitted failure and said, I'm not trying anymore, it's over. And eventually the question arises is, well, what about death? What if I die in the process? What if I try every day for 20 years and then I die one day? Well, then you didn't experience failure, you died. You were taken out of the equation. You were taken off the team, so it's not your team that's losing anymore. And that was always my logic, was just, as long as I don't admit failure, I can't lose. It doesn't necessarily mean I've won, but it means that I haven't lost yet. We're still in overtime. There's still a path to victory. And I still care. And now, granted, things are getting better. I'm losing weight. I've saved money. I love myself more. I have a good relationship with God for the first time in decades. I've moved up north, and I visit family, and I'm loving life. There's a lot of evidence that tell me that things are getting better. As a matter of fact, I would say I can't really see how it could get worse. Now, not tempting the gods, but like, yeah, I've lost like 3 pounds a week every week for the last no, I've lost 2 pounds a week every week for the last 3 months. Like, I would imagine I'm probably going to keep hitting the gym and dieting. Yeah, the evidence is there, right? I will probably do a podcast tomorrow. I'll probably listen to an audio. I've been doing it every day for 3 years. I'm probably going to do it tomorrow. And so your rational logical mind goes, well, yeah, of course, right? But this is easy because my optimism was just forged in the fire of doubt. It was not even doubt of, I mean, like, definitive delusion. Everything is shit. Tomorrow's going to be better. I'm not going to give up. And then a day passes, and then 3 more years pass, and it's still getting worse. You're still losing altitude. And I would just, even if my brain was like, just say it. Just say it that life sucks and it's over and it's not getting better. Just the stubborn Irish fuck in me would always just go, it's gonna get better. And I genuinely believe that's why I'm alive. That and the unwavering support of my family. But I mean, all jokes aside about me being egocentric narcissist, I mean, but really, I mean, I do believe that's why I'm alive. Is because despite all evidence to the contrary, I just kept saying it's going to get better. And that doesn't mean that you can never say it's going to get worse. Like, if I say don't think about a pink armadillo, well, that's not what you're thinking about. So of course, the thought would come in like, it isn't getting better. It's never going to get better. And maybe I'd even say that. I go, it's so fucked, it's never going to get better. I would always undo it. I would undo the spell, and I'd say, nope, it's going to get better. So I have to continue to do that, even if there is no evidence that it's getting better. Right. But I mean, really, that is where my optimism is rooted in. I always explain it away and I say it's for my own mental health because it's what carried me through that. Sure, it is. But the thing is like, it got better. I'm my own boss. I woke up at the crack of 1 p.m. today on a work day. I listened to an audiobook. I hit the gym. I went to the bank. I went to the pharmacy. Just did a podcast with Webb and Mike Ford. And now I'm doing a solo rant. I'm in a cool apartment in downtown. It looks like a Miami nightclub. After this, I'm going to call my mom. I'm going to eat my spinach and chicken because I'm dieting. And I'm going to play World of Warships and listen to Tim Dillon. My life's dope. I have no kids. I have no ex-wives. I have no child support. I have no debts. I have no pets. I'm self-employed. And not even self-employed, like I build shit for people, and so I kind of have to listen to the customer. And there is no customer. I choose the customers. If I don't like them, I don't choose them. Not only did things get better, a job paying minimum wage in my own apartment would have been considered better than where I was. I have gone past better, and I've gone to a point now where there's no part of my life I yearn to be back in. I was used to think like, God, I just hope I survive and get my own job one day. I don't ever see myself becoming like that pre-med workaholic guy that could do anything. I mean, that's delusional to think that, but actually, no, deep down, no, I did still lie. I take that back. I did lie to myself. I tell myself I'm going to get in better shape than I've ever been in my life. I'm going to be smarter than I've ever been in my life. I'm going to be worth more money than I've ever been in my life. I'm going to have more respect and love than any time in my life. My life has turned out better than even delusional me thought it could. To the point, I mean, I was walking around today and I was just thinking, I was like, what are the odds that I'm in a coma? And I don't think they're that low. And I hope they don't wake me up because this life is I genuinely love every day of my life. And not even in some grateful Zen Buddhism. No, I mean, genuinely, like, this is so fucking cool. I just go to bed smiling. It's so fucking cool. I mean, it's what Charles Bukowski said. You will be alone with the gods and the nights will rage with fire. It's a solo experience and it's just beautiful. So if I've seen that in my own experiences, you know, it's like I saw this. No one has to be, it's like the first guy that saw fire. He's like, I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me, but fucking a white bright streak hit that tree, and all of a sudden it was warm and orange. I don't care if you don't believe me. I saw it. You'd go on your own personal observation and be like, you don't have to believe me. And I can't reproduce it, but I've seen it. And you cannot tell me it didn't happen. I have seen my life go from the worst, I mean, truly like in an ICU from like an accidental overdose, being broke and overweight and just disgusting and greasy and just hating everything in my life and hating myself. No friends, no nothing. To my life's better than I ever thought it could be. I would be dishonest to then tell you that a bad situation can't get better because I have witnessed it. I've lived it. So when I see the world going to shit and I'm still on here every day saying it's gonna get better, we're gonna do better, you're seeing the delusion. I can tell you about how delusional I was and how it was so bad, but I told myself it was gonna get better, and that's all nice and inspirational. But no, now you're seeing it in real time. When it seems like the World Economic Forum, banking, military, industrial complex, pharma, media cartel is just running the world. And not only that, they seem to be occultist, Satanist pedophiles. And I'm still sitting here going, yeah, it's going to be good. And you watch it and go, uh, hey, Tommy, do you have a gun to your head? Like, you don't have to say it's, no, it's, you're seeing you cannot ever submit. The very last inch of empire that you own is your own verbal consent. And I do believe it's going to get better. Not only is it going to get better and not be as bad as it is now, it's going to be better than anything we could have imagined. Post World War II, Golden Age America, it's going to pale in comparison to what's coming. It is going to be beautiful. And I don't give a shit if there's no evidence for that. I'm going to believe that till the day I die. And if I die before it happens, I won't be here to witness failure. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. And I will never budge on that. And I do think I think that is God. It's irrational, it makes no sense, there's no evidence for it, but why does it still persist? Why does the spark still keep going? It's a torrential downpour. Why is the match still on fire? The light just keeps going. Darkness can't drive out light. Darkness can't drive out darkness. You can't destroy it. And so long as you don't give up, it will keep going. I think the only way it can truly become evil in just the end of history is if every last person consents. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's not going to be drawn out. I'd like to see it in my lifetime. Maybe it takes 10,000 millennia. I don't fucking know. I will not. And it's also just like the me who grew up listening to like Eminem and Blink-182 and using LimeWire and playing Grand Theft Auto when my parents went to bed and watching The Simpsons when I wasn't allowed to. There's also just the sort of middle finger, like, fuck you. Like, fuck, eat a dick. I'm just gonna, because I'm doing it because you said I can't do it. I don't even want long hair, but because I go to a Catholic school, now I'm gonna have long hair because you're not allowed to have it. There's also just that in me. Like, no, Klaus, like, I'm gonna own everything and I'm gonna be fucking happier than happy. Like, fuck off. Maybe at one point in my life I would have tried eating bugs, but because you want me to eat a bug, I will never eat bugs. It's just like, fuck you. It's just fuck right off. So, I don't know. So what if it is all your own mind? What if it is your imagination? And if you believe it will get better, it will eventually get better. Like if you have like Play-Doh and you have a shape like a star and you push on the Play-Doh hard enough, it will have eventually no choice but to eventually the pressure will overcome the resistance. And it doesn't matter how viscous it is, it will extrude itself in the shape of a star or a triangle or whatever. If you truly keep pushing and truly believe it will get better, the universe eventually runs out of rational reasons to doubt you, and it just makes it better because it has no other choice. It throws COVID at you. It throws Soleimani. It throws Kobe crashing into the mountainside. It throws January 6th. It throws a nuclear scare. It throws fucking Klaus Schwab, that pedophile. It throws everything at you, and you're still going, no, it's going to get better. Eventually, the universe goes, all right, what are you doing? You're doing a podcast? All right, here's a fucking private investor. And then we'll try to fuck you and be like, you're banned from YouTube. And then you're going to meet a bunch of people that are like, I'll come on your show because you were banned from YouTube. It eventually has to go through the only route left. It's not the path of least resistance. It's the only path left. And it is the path of least resistance because it's the path in which you have your own consent. And we are so far off into new ageism now. Just don't, if you're looking for equations and shit, fuck off. Eventually the universe, you to quote David Goggins, you have to look at whatever's in front. You have to, what is it? You have to see the enemy. You have to, what is it? You have to steal the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of you. You have to break its will to live. Like, it's not enough that, shout out December 7th, it's not enough that we had unconditional surrender of the Japanese. We firebombed them and then nuked them and destroyed and made and we made Hirohito bow in front of MacArthur. It's not just that we won. We emasculated them for generations to now it's a bunch of guys running around with pillows as wives saying, oh, hello. Like, that was beyond winning. The fact that German people still hate themselves because we just neutered them on you thought the Treaty of Versailles was bad in 1919. From 1945 till present, they have been cucked so hard, their balls were ripped off, turned inside out, and turned into an umbrella for an anime girl to wave around. Like, destruction beyond unconditional surrender. Like, that's what you have to do. Is you have to just stare. Like, you be wary of staring into the abyss because the abyss stares back. Tell the abyss to fuck off. Gaze into the abyss. Yeah, gaze into the abyss and say that you're gay. It's going to be bright and sunny, and the abyss sits there in silence and crushing void. And you go, it's going to be sunny. And maybe it takes more than 3 years. Maybe it takes 30 trillion Googleplex years. Just keep saying it's going to be sunny. Don't stare into the abyss. If you go down philosophy long enough, you'll go insane. How about just closing a philosophy book and then smacking it with your dick and then saying fuck off and going for a walk and smile and wave at somebody? And if they flick you off, you just keep smiling. Like, just fuck off. Just be your own thermonuclear bomb of positivity. Just create your own, bend space time with your own delusion. Just fuck off. Don't stare into the abyss. The abyss will stare into the abyss and tell it that its black voidiness is looking pretty good today. And are those new earrings? It's eventually gonna fuck up and it's gonna smile. It's gonna say, well, this is a new black hole I'm wearing. Like, just fucking be it will eventually, you will break the universe. It'll eventually, you will domesticate the beast, and it will come sit at your side and lick your hand, and it will become your best friend. Just break the fucking neck of negativity. I mean, truly break its neck. Let your eyes turn black. Turn into the shark. Turn into Bruce in Finding Nemo when he smells Dory's blood. Turn into a demon of positivity and scare the shit out of the universe. Just truly bend fucking reality. Just don't fuck off. That's what it is just unwavering fuck off. Just find the drunk Irish asshole that is inside of all of us. And I don't mean that in a rapey way. I mean that like deep down inside of you. Just don't give up. Just don't give up. Don't give it the satisfaction. Don't stare into the abyss. The abyss will gaze back. No, 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 no. It wants to gaze back. It wants to break you. It loves seeing you admit that things won't get better. Don't give it that. It's Randy Marsh fighting Bad Dad in South Park. Hey, Bad Dad, I didn't hear no bell. You're the best around. No one's ever gonna bring you down. Be Randy Marsh. Hey, Bad Dad. Stan, little cancer Stan. Hey, Sharon. Just don't believe in yourself. Go to PF Chang's and have the world's biggest shit like Randy Marsh. Don't give up. It's so fucking fake, gay, and retarded to give up. That's what it is. It's not even that it's good to be optimistic and pass on a better world to the people that come after you. I get all of that. But also just don't be a fucking loser and give up. Just don't. Hitler had rockets and jet engines and meth, and he still gave up. FDR was in a wheelchair and he didn't give up. He died having an affair. And then Truman took over, that psychopath, and he didn't give up. Just don't give up. Fuck it. Just fuck off. Don't give up. It's gay and retarded to give up. That's all. It really is that. You don't even have to like the idea of a better outcome. Just don't be a fucking loser and capitulate. Don't ever surrender. Don't ever give up. Just fucking to the very end. And when your gun's out of bullets, beat them to death with the butt of the gun. And then when that breaks, kill them with your hands. And if you're dead on the ground and you're paralyzed and there's nothing left and you're just trying to breathe, look him in the eye and say, I fucked your mom. Like, just don't give up. And it's also kind of simple because it's not like, well, when should I give up? No, if it is just that you're not giving up, you don't have to remember anything. Just don't give up. Right? When you're on a diet can be confusing. Can I eat this? Can I eat carbs after this? Do I have to take this vitamin? What about try being keto? Should I? It's a lot easier just fasting. When you go, yeah, I'm just not gonna eat today. Now you can't do that long term, but like you can just not do that. I mean, I was yo-yo dieting nonstop all of 2021 because I'd be like, well, I dieted this week and I worked out. Now it's time to get shit-faced drunk and eat pizza and drink beer. And it's like, no, now I just don't consume alcohol and I consume like 1,300 calories a day, 6 days a week. When at the end of the day, when I have my last calorie, there's no more like, I wonder if, have I earned a little? No, I'm just done. And you're going to bed hungry. I never keep more than like 2 or 3 days of food here. So I wake up in the middle of the night on the third day of dieting of the week. I'm really fucking hungry. There's nothing there. There's ice and there's a fucking thing of chapstick. What are you gonna eat, retard? So just don't make the Play-Doh go through the shape, no matter what the shape is. Fuck Play-Doh. Make the concrete go through the shape. It eventually, when there's enough pressure and there's no other exit, it will eventually come out of that last end. No matter what, when you're rolling up the toothpaste, even the most stubborn bit will eventually explode out. By never giving up, by never consenting to failure, the universe eventually has to work. There's nothing else for it to do. And it will be the most unlikely thing because it's run out of ideas. And finally it surrenders and goes, what do you want? Hey, you won. What do you want? So right now, it may seem unimaginable how life gets better. It seems like the election system is rigged. Half the people are brainwashed. The world is heading towards thermonuclear Armageddon and climate change and man-made viruses and Bill Gates' wet dream and Klaus is gonna fucking rape you all to death in some weird technocratic dystopia. Tommy, how in God's name is it gonna get better? I have no fucking idea, but I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna say, yeah, I guess you're right. It's over. Cut your balls off and return them because they don't belong to you. They don't belong to you. Just be irrationally positive. And that doesn't mean just sit around hoping it's going to get better. The addendum to this is you then have to also never stop working. I was always told myself it would get better, and then I just kept working. I've done 1,017 episodes in a week less than 3 years because I never stopped working. You have to work nonstop. But it will eventually break. And maybe it manifests and be like, all right, fucking Elon Musk is working with DARPA and he has a brain implant. And yeah, that's what's going to take down the evil cabal. I don't know. I don't know. You just have to stay positive. You don't have to worry about how the script is written. It will just eventually generate. And it will have to go through the only opening you provide. I don't know how the Play-Doh's going to get through that pinhole. But add enough weight to it, it will go through. Just say fuck off. Yeah, I don't know. It'll just get better. How? I don't know. I'm gonna keep working hard and keep being a good person, give it my all. Gonna put my best foot forward every day and never gonna give up. Well, eventually it just starts to work because you've exhausted the universe. You've broken its will. You've broken its ranks. You're just bulldozing through its trenches. You're driving over its barbed wire. That's it. Just don't give up. Till my dying breath, I will still say it's gonna get better. I don't I don't care. Why would I care? Just stay positive. Just fuck off and stay positive. Like I keep calm and carry on. No, fuck off and stay positive. Or the realization I had when I was on 1,250 micrograms of LSD and several grams of dried mushrooms. Cliff, CLYF. Choose love, you fuck. Just never give up. I don't know. Oh, I really gotta pee actually. And then I'm gonna call my mom, and then I'm gonna play World of Warships and listen to Tim Dillon scream about fat people he's fucked. Yeah, life has gotten a lot better, and it's gonna happen for the whole world. I don't give a shit what anybody else says. Fuck off when the abyss gazes into you, wink back and grab your dick and say, "You want some of this, daddy?"